Hey everyone, I'm Coach Hannah, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about shin splints and exercises and different things you can do involving your training to avoid those shin splints. Alright, so the first thing that you guys can do to avoid those shin splints, the number one best tip is to increase your training gradually. So what I mean by that is, especially for those runners out there who are just starting to get into running, you want to increase your mileage gradually. So you want to make sure when you start going on runs, you're not running too fast and you're not doing too many miles too quickly. Because when you first start running for the first time, you probably have all this adrenaline where you're like, oh wow, this is so much fun, like I feel so good, let me just keep running more and more miles. But that is actually what can lead to those overuse injuries, particularly those shin splints. So you want to make sure you slowly increase how many miles each run and how many total miles a week you're running. One tip I have for that is you could start out with the run-walk method, where you run a couple minutes and then walk a couple minutes and keep repeating that, and then slowly building up to multiple miles consecutively. Now, one of the main causes for runners getting shin splints is that they are not mixing up the surface that they're running. They're running too much on concrete, which is the worst surface you could run on, especially for those shins. So making sure it's super important to mix up the total surface you're running. Like some runs can be on concrete, some can be on packed gravel, some can be trail running. Just making sure you mix up that surface so there's not too much overuse on those shins. All right, another tip to avoid those shin splints is cross training. So especially for people who are starting out with running, you want to make sure you're not running every single day of the week. That's going to put a lot of stress on the body and you could get those shin splints. So making sure to do cross training such as biking, swimming, or using the elliptical. And also strength training as well is super important for helping prevent those shin splints. In most cases, shin splints are caused by having a weakness in other areas of the body, such as the calves and the hamstrings. So making sure it's really important you do exercises that are great for stretching the calves and hamstrings. I will put some examples here up on the side of the screen, but one exercise I do that's great for strengthening my calves to help prevent those shin splints are calf raises. I'll put a video there on the screen. And then some great exercises at the gym to strengthen the hamstrings include RDLs and deadlifts and things like that, and also hamstring curls using a stability ball. I will also put some pictures and videos on the screen here as well. So really making sure you do strength training for the entire lower body, but especially emphasizing the calves and the hamstrings. Another tip I have for you guys to help prevent those shin splints is making sure you get a proper warm-up and a proper cool-down before and after your runs. Really making sure you stretch those calves, those hamstrings, quads, and the glutes to get those muscles really warmed up before you start your run. If you do a lot of runs where you're not doing a warm-up, that's going to put even more strain on the shins in particular, because your body's not quite used to the movement yet because you haven't done a proper warm-up. That can lead to those shin splints. Another tip I have for you guys to avoid those shin splints, this one is super, super important, is to make sure that about every 300 to 500 miles, you're switching out your running shoes and getting new ones. And this is because if you are running many, many miles past that 500 mile mark where your shoes are too old, that can lead to shin splints, because when you get a brand new pair of running shoes at the store, they actually have foot support in them. The bounciness, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you get a new running shoe, a lot of times there's like a bounciness to them. That's because a brand new running shoe comes with that support where there's a protection in there where it's supposed to help absorb the force from the ground when your feet is hitting the ground. But after about 300 to 500 miles of using those running shoes, that protectiveness that helps absorb the force from the ground goes away, And so if you are starting to get shin pain, that is a signal that you need new running shoes. Another tip I have for you guys to avoid those shin splints is you can try shortening your stride. A lot of times when people have a super long running stride, that's going to put even more pressure on the shins, because that could lead to a heel foot strike. So if you shorten your stride, that's going to make it easier to midfoot strike the ground. If you don't know what heel and midfoot striking is, I'll put a link up here. I have a video talking all about that, but if you mid strike the ground, that's going to put less strain on those lower body, on that lower body, especially the shins. All right, so I hope you guys learned a lot from this video about shin splints and things that you can do in your training to help prevent them. And I hope you guys are able to use these tips. If any of you are suffering from shin splints, I guarantee if you do these steps over time, those shin splints will go away, and hopefully you can reduce the chances that they will come back in the future. I'm Coach Hannah, a fitness trainer with a degree in kinesiology. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and as always, chase those fitness goals.